Thank you for calling Century City Aesthetic Dentistry. This is Olivia. How can I assist you today?
My fellow brothers, my fellow people of understanding, welcome to the future. In today's video, my brothers, we're going to be going through something truly revolutionary. We are going to be going through the only and complete tutorial on YouTube about how to build an AI voice facilitator for a dentist. We are going to be going through everything from how to create an appointment booking system that can not only book the appointment, not only answer questions, not only transfer to live agents, but also update and manage that singular appointment. So without further ado, my brothers, this video is going to be split up into 3 separate parts. You know how it always goes. We got the good old call demo. You guys saw a quick preview at the beginning. Then we got the good old call flow, which is where we actually show you how the actual system works and stuff like that, so that you guys can get a good old understanding. And then we got the actual enhancement part, which, as you all know, is going to be the good old part in which we go ahead and show everything to you guys, how to build this from complete scratch with all resources given and everything in complete detail. So without further ado, let's get into that good old demo.
Hello. Thank you for calling Century City Aesthetic Dentistry. This is Olivia. How can I assist you today?
Hey Olivia, I would like to book an appointment. Can you help me out?
Of course. I'd be happy to help you book an appointment. Could you please let me know your preferred date and time for the appointment?
Yeah, can we do something like, let's say tomorrow, 4 p.m.?
One moment while I check the availability for you. Great news. We have an available slot tomorrow at 4 p.m. Could you please provide your full name, email, and the service you'd like to book for?
Absolutely, yeah. My full name is Ibrahim, and basically the service, I just want a simple teeth cleaning. Can you help me out?
Thank you, Ibrahim. Could you also provide your email address so I can finalize the booking for your teeth cleaning appointment?
Yeah, absolutely. It's Ibrahim1428@gmail.com.
Perfect. Just to confirm, full name, Ibrahim, email, Ibrahim1428@gmail.com, service, teeth cleaning date and time, tomorrow at 4 p.m. Is everything correct before I finalize your appointment?
That's perfect, man. Go ahead.
Give me a sec while I punch this in. Your appointment has been successfully booked for tomorrow at 4 p.m. for a teeth cleaning. You'll receive a confirmation email shortly. Is there anything else I can assist you with today?
That's it. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you for calling Century City Aesthetic Dentistry. This is Olivia. How can I assist you today?
Hey, Olivia, could you tell me a little bit, what is Century City Aesthetic Dentistry known for, man?
Of course. Century City Aesthetic Dentistry, led by Dr. Bill Dorfman, is renowned for providing world-class dental care with a focus on cosmetic and aesthetic dentistry. Dr. Dorfman is often referred to as the dentist to the stars because of his expertise in creating stunning, natural-looking smiles for celebrities and patients alike. We specialize in services like smile makeovers, veneers, teeth whitening, Invisalign, and full mouth reconstruction. Our clinic is also known for its cutting-edge technology.
Also,
personalized
do
care, and a
you...
commitment to helping...
Yeah, do you accept insurance? Dental insurance?
Yes, we do accept most major dental insurance plans. If you'd like, I can connect you with one of our patient coordinators to confirm if your specific insurance is
No,
covered.
that
Would
won't...
you like me to do that for
No,
you?
that won't be necessary. Actually, I would just like to reschedule my appointment. Is that good?
Absolutely. I can help you reschedule your appointment. Could you please provide me with the new date and time you'd like to reschedule to? This will help me check availability for you.
Yeah, can we do 2 p.m. tomorrow?
Got it. Let me check the availability for 2 p.m. tomorrow. One moment, please. Good news. The 2 p.m. slot tomorrow is available. Could you please share your full name so I can proceed with rescheduling your appointment?
Yeah, my full name is Ibrahim Kashif.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Let me go ahead and reschedule your appointment to 2 p.m. tomorrow. One moment, please. Your appointment has been successfully rescheduled to 2 p.m. tomorrow, Ibrahim. You're all set. Is there anything else I...
As you can see, my boys, I always tell you, this is truly the future. All right, my brothers, now we got the good old call flow, you guys' favorite part. So without further ado, the starting of the inbound call is the exact same as VAPI. We basically trigger the call, we get the assistant from Retell AI, and we attach custom memory to it, which is basically our ability to see if, hey, is this person in our database before? If they are, start the call message with hello, name, welcome back, and stuff like that. So it's a more personalized experience. And basically we go ahead and we connect the call over there. Now this is the exact same flow as our usual VAPI assistants, but the difference is that in make.com, instead of having to set the variable for the assistant and basically create a fake assistant so that we can connect the call, we are basically sending a request over to Retell AI to allow us to literally use the assistant instead of having to create it and stuff like that. So anyways, yeah, the call is basically connected, and then we got the good old part in which we can answer questions from a live knowledge base. This is basically a question answer sheet like how you saw inside the demo. It can be anything. It can be a menu for a restaurant. It can be a simple Google Docs with question answers. It can be a literal pricing page. Anything that you have, it can so easily be connected. And Retell AI has a very fun feature in which you can actually connect your website page to it as well, so that it can live extract data from your website. And yeah, obviously we have the ability to transfer to a live agent, transfer to our manager if you need. That's basic. And next we got the main functions or the tools that this assistant will have. We got the check availability, we have the book appointment, and then we have the reschedule or cancel the appointment. And these tools are all interconnected. That's why we've done the good old squiggly line over here. But basically how the call flow goes is that when we ask, hey, can we book in tomorrow 4 p.m., the assistant will first check the availability on Google Calendar to see if it is available and stuff like that. And now this can work for any dentist system that you have out there. Right now we're just going to be using Google Calendar. But yeah, check the availability, and then we're going to go ahead and book the slot if it is available. If it's not available, we're gonna run back, and the assistant will give options as to, hey, 4 p.m. is available, or sorry, no, 3:30 p.m. is available if you want to book in then. And then after they have booked in a slot, and only if they have booked in a slot, then we add them into our database so that we can see that, hey, this is the caller, this is the appointment time, here's all their details and stuff like that. And then obviously the end of call report, and we send the good old even. And then obviously we got the good old end of call report, and then we also send the email confirmation saying that, hey, you have an appointment booked, here's your appointment ID, which is what we will need to be able to do the update appointment. And now that's the basic flow, but to get into the appointment rescheduling, cancellation, stuff like that, how we basically access that is whenever we book an appointment, each appointment has a unique identifier called the appointment ID. So whenever we want to go ahead and reschedule the appointment, we simply check, hey, in this appointment ID, we have to do these changes or cancel the appointment in this way, using their phone number to first extract them from our database so that we can pull out the good old appointment ID, and then searching that specific appointment to go ahead and do the changes required. And this will make a lot more sense once you guys see inside goodoldmake.com. But without further ado, now that we've understood this, let's go into Retell AI. All right, so these are all of the resources that will be provided inside the actual tutorial. We got a good old knowledge base over here. We got a prompt breakdown over here. Then we got a good make.com scenarios all over here. Boom, boom, boom. Then obviously we just got the Google Sheets over here. Boom, simple. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, as you can see here, we have a brand new Retell AI organization. I'm just going to go ahead and delete the assistant. This is what we use to go ahead and do the call with you guys. So we're just going to click delete over here. And now if you access the files below, you guys will be able to have access into our good old Retell AI appointment JSON. So we're just going to click this over here, and we're just going to click save, because this is how we're going to upload our assistant so that we're on the same page. So as you can see, we just got our assistant over here. We're just going to open it right over here, and lo and behold, you guys have the exact assistant that we used to do this call, with all of the prompt, with all the details, with everything inputted in there. All right, so before we get into these specific configurations and stuff like that, I just want to go over this page because it's a little bit different than VAPI's, because we have everything just thrown in our face over here. So how this assistant page works is, number one, we obviously have our main prompt box. Now this prompt box over here, this is our system prompt. This is what the AI will use to go into ChatGPT, plugging in this prompt and be able to come up with responses. So if you guys don't already know how every single AI assistant works, is we first have a transcriber to transcribe our speech, and then after it is transcribed, our AI will go ahead and use this system prompt over here into ChatGPT, as you can see, GPT-4o, and basically be able to come up with a response based off of what not only the user said, but also our system prompt, so that we are accurate. And then after we go ahead and we get a response from ChatGPT, we plug that into something like 11 Labs to generate speech to speak back to us. So that's a basic understanding about what an AI voice assistant actually is. Now over here, we got a main prompt box over here. We got a nice welcome message over here. This is where you guys can configure if you want it to be dynamic, you know, defined, or the AI just just remains silent and the user speaks first. Now inside this scenario, we're going to be using a dynamic because again, we have custom memory. So if you see over here inside our first prompt over here, our starting message is actually just a variable message so that we can go ahead and inside make.com define what this message actually is, depending on if they're an old customer or if they're a new customer. And obviously we cannot define variables inside the actual AI voice configuration. Either that's VAPI, Bland AI, Synthflow, or whatever it is. You cannot define variables inside here. You have to go ahead and you have to use something like make.com to actually define variables. Now after that, we have our good old voice over here. We have hundreds of voices from 11 Labs, PlayHT, OpenAI, and then we can also add custom voices in which we can not only voice clone over here, meaning that whatever your voice is, however you sound, we can plug that in over here and literally clone it. But not just that, we can go ahead and access their community voices, which if you see inside 11 Labs, they have thousands. Every single accent you could probably think of, the 2 genders, it has everything over here and all of the literal tonalities as well. And then after that, just some basic more configurations over here, all types and, you know, genders and accents and stuff like that. And you can also do some more manual configuration over here, like the voice speed and like the voice model, whatever model you're using and stuff like that. So this is just the entire configuration for just the voice. And then after that, we got a good old transcriber model, which is basically what language it's going to transcribe in, either Spanish, English, UK, English, Indian. And this is a very important configuration because if I go ahead and click French over here and just click test over here and try talking to it in English, it's not going to be able to transcribe anything.
Thank you for calling Century City Aesthetic Dentistry. This is Olivia. How can I assist you?
So even though it is speaking in English, it's not registering what I'm saying. It's just saying ET and then boom. We got French over here. So it's very important to make sure that your transcriber is in the language that you're actually trying to speak. And now over here, we have a good old configuration section, which is where we can just go ahead and do our functions. And now if you don't already know, functions are just some basic capabilities that we give our AI, something like check availability, book appointments, send SMS, something like that, something the AI can actually do, something like end call. And then after that, we got our good old knowledge base, add a knowledge base, simple speech settings. Now this is where we can configure our background noise, interruption sensitivity, just the basic configurations over here. And then we got our good old call settings, which is just again more configurations and stuff like that. Now these are our basic settings, how we have all of our AI assistants set at. We have 30 seconds as our end call silence, and we have max duration as 5 minutes, even though usual AI calls last 3 minutes. And after that, we got our post call analysis. Now these are the only analysis data that we will need, and post call analysis is basically all of the data that we will plug back into our Google Docs over here. So as you can see over here, this is the Google Docs. It has the call recording from what we did, and all of the post call analysis is basically all of the data that we unplug over here. And that can be stuff like the name, the email, and call status, call transferred, and stuff like that. And then after that, we got our good old security, nothing to configure over there. And then our actual webhook settings, which is basically where we can configure our inbound webhook URL and also our agent level URL. And then we got our good old test audio over here, our test LLM, which is basically some testing that we can do without having to actually call it and use a number. And again, if you're trying to use the call transfer feature, you cannot do it on a web call. Do not try. And now with all of this out of the way, let's just switch our transcriber back over to English. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to go into the prompt. So now we got the good old prompt breakdown. So this is something that you guys have been killing me for. You guys want to understand how to create perfect prompts and how we come up with perfect prompts. And I want you guys to know, before we dive into this, the prompt will make or break your AI assistant, meaning that when you showcase this to a client, if your prompt is not the absolute best, your AI will sound terrible and everything altogether will just crumble. Most people take prompts as something lightly, but literally prompt engineering is an actual, job and stuff like that. It requires actual skill sets, and you need to be able to create good prompts, good, concise, and straightforward prompts. Because again, it really does affect your AI system. The difference between an amateur and an actual pro into creating AI voice facilitators and stuff like that is the difference in not only their make.com scenarios, but also their prompt. That is the main difference. Mainly, again, the prompts. So over here, we got a good old prompt breakdown. Now, I don't know the other tutorials that you guys have watched, but basically how we go ahead and we run this is that we divide our prompts in separate sections. We got our identity at the beginning, then we got our workflow, we got our functions, we got some rules, and then we put in an example at the end. Because if you guys don't already know this, how ChatGPT or all of the LLMs work is that they mainly look at the first starting and then the end. That's the most information that they have. And then the middle is just pass through and stuff like that. It still looks at it, but the main idea, the main role and identity and the actual flow that it follows is in the starting and at the end of the prompt. So that's why in the starting we define its role and its responsibilities, and then at the end we either just leave it with the rules or we just put in an example conversation. Because let me tell you this, that it is so much better to prompt an assistant with an example instead of just giving a text like, hey, when the user says this, go ahead and do that. Instead of just saying that, add an example. An example will make or break your prompt. So anyway, we got a main all identity and role in this beginning part. This is basically the main thing that the AI sees at the very start of the prompt. This defines its primary responsibilities and its identity. What's its name? What's its identity? What's its name? What's its personality? Where is it getting its information and stuff like that? Then after that, we go into the main workflow. Now you will see two colors over here. We usually, like how I defined, instead of just giving a text format, we also add an example. So in every part of our workflow, in every part of our actual structure of the prompt, we provide the actual text part. We provide, hey, this is your instruction, as we like to call it. And then we provide an example with that instruction. So if you see over here inside this good old workflow part over here, we provide the simple instruction and then we provide an example. So as you can see over here, we got start each call with a welcome message, and then we got our example over here, ask a clarifying question to understand the request, and then we got our actual examples over here. Now after that, we got our actual functions over here. Now this is very, very, very important. When you are defining functions, you need to specifically mention the tools, and functions have to be very, very, very well defined as to where you're getting the data, where you're transporting the data, what information you need before you're sending over the data. It needs to all well be defined. So over here, you got a proven prompts for the actual update booking and just the basic configurations for booking. This is what we use in all of our assistants over here. These three functions are what we use in $1,000 deals. So we just went ahead and we gave everything to you guys. So after that, again, we got the basic instructions over here, and then we just give some examples with it. Hey, this is how you're going to respond, and some basic more examples and stuff like that. So then after that, obviously we got the transfer to live agent, same stuff, closing the call. Here's your thing. And then after that, we got to go to guidelines and tone and style. This is basically where we configure, hey, this is how you're going to sound. You're going to sound like a human. This is your personality. And then after that, again, we got our rules. Now, if you guys do not already know this, since we're near to the end, we define our rules because AI voice agents, when not correctly defined, they do terrible job at keeping and sticking to the conversation. Meaning that if you ask an amateur AI voice agent, hey, bro, how's your dog and stuff like that, it's going to respond with some, hey, my dog's a German Shepherd. This is its name and stuff like that. It's going to wander off somewhere. But if you have an AI voice facilitator and it is well defined, it will be able to stick to the conversation and stick to what is happening and be able to guide the conversation to get the outcome of the conversation, book an appointment or send SMS or whatever it is. And then after that, we obviously just go ahead and provide an example. This makes it easier for the AI to understand. All right, now that we've understood the basics, let's go into actually going ahead and developing this. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to go ahead and we have to plug in our knowledge base. We're going to go over here. We're going to click add new knowledge base, and we're just going to run back over here into our good old knowledge base over here. We're going to click file, click download, go ahead and download that over here, go over here, and we're just gonna go ahead and plug it in like normal. Add documents, upload files, and it's gonna be this one right over here. And now we're just gonna go ahead and name this right like this. Boom, the exact same name. Click save over here. Now if we just wait a few seconds, boom, and we got our good old knowledge base. Now we're gonna head back over to our agents tab over here. We're gonna go over here and we're just gonna go ahead and literally, plug in the knowledge base over here. And now we got our good old knowledge base plugged in. Now after that, you guys can go over to the normal configurations over here. Whatever configurations you want to do, go ahead and do that. So yeah, our next step is basically we're actually gonna go ahead and connect the number first. Usually people go ahead and do this later, but we're gonna connect the number first. So all I want you guys to do is go over to our phone numbers tab over here, click add a number, and it is very simple. No need to go into Twilio and stuff like that. No need to connect this over to Telenex and stuff like that. I want you guys to just go over to buy a new number. I'm gonna select Telenex right now because currently, by the time of recording this video, Twilio has gotten their their actual account banned. So we cannot use a Twilio number right now from Retell AI. So we have to go ahead and we have to click Telenex over here and just type in an area code, something like 949 or 650, and just click save, and then you will have your number already purchased and already connected. So we're just going to go over here and we're going to select our AI as our inbound calling assistant, and we're going to go back over to our assistants tab, go into our good old assistants over here, and we're just going to go ahead and open our webhook settings right over here. Now it is time for the good make.com part. So if you guys don't already know, just go over to make.com, go over to scenarios and click create a new scenario. All of the blueprints are provided. I just want you to go into your good old scenario over here, go over here, go over to import blueprint, and just choose the file from the blueprint. And then you guys should be on the exact same page as me. So the only thing that we have to do is, first of all, unlink this over here. And I want you guys to go ahead and click add, and create a good old webhook over here. Just type YouTube demo or whatever you want to do. Go ahead and create that and copy your address over here. Click save, click save. Go ahead and copy that URL and go ahead back over to Retell AI, and we're just going to paste that in right over here. Now, what is happening over here is that when we want to go ahead and connect our actual assistant with the custom memory, we have to use make.com to first extract them from our Google Sheets. All right, so now just to explain this scenario a little bit more, basically what is happening over here is when we're going ahead and triggering a call from the phone number on Retell AI to this assistant, is basically sending webhook data to this webhook over here, which is an instant trigger. And what is happening inside this scenario is that we're first formatting our phone number over here into a raw phone number, meaning that if you have a phone number like +1949, whatever your phone number is, this is a fully formatted number. What we are doing over here is we're removing the plus from this phone number, because if you guys don't already know, Google Sheets, if you try inside Google Sheets, try and add a +1 and whatever your phone number is, it actually removes the plus. So to be able to actually search that Google Sheets, we have to remove the +1. So once we get our raw phone number over here, we use Google Sheets, we search our rows to see if they exist in our database before. If they do, then we go ahead and we use custom memory saying that, hey, name, welcome back, blah, blah, blah. But if they are not in our database, we could not find them in our rows. That means that we just start normally with hello, thank you for calling. Simple. And if you guys already don't know how to use this, just go ahead, go into your Google Sheets module over here, and you guys just have to add your Google Sheets connection over here. It's a simple sign in with Google like normal. Once you guys have signed in perfectly, just go over here, go to spreadsheet ID, select your spreadsheet over here, and just select your sheet over here. And then as you can see, this is the rest of the module. Make sure that you have phone number equals to phone number, and then your order by phone number, field type number, ascending, and limit 1. And now that we got our inbound set, let's set out our agent level webhook URL, which is basically the end of call report. So if you see over here, just do the basic simple stuff like always. Just go ahead and import our blueprint over here, and you guys will be on the exact same page as me. Now I want you guys to create the webhook URL like how we already did inside the inbound calling system. Go ahead and copy that, go back over to Retell, and just paste that into agent level webhook URL like that, and then we're good to go. So how this scenario works is, first I want you guys to understand this, that whenever we trigger a call, 3 full webhook URLs are sent to our end of call report. Is number 1, the call being started, the call event equals to call started. Number 2 is call event equals to call analyzed, and number 3 is call event equals to call ended. And now the call event that we want to extract from here is the call ended. So we have a filter over here to make sure that we're only getting the call ended. And then as you can see, we gotta go to client variables over here, which is our bearer API key, and then we gotta go to calling phone number over here. This is the formatted phone number, and we get it raw. And now to connect your API key over here, we're just gonna go ahead, go into Retell AI over here, go back over here, go ahead, go into our good old API keys, and we're just gonna click our copy right over here, go back over to our scenario, delete the key over here, and I want you guys to make sure that there's a space right over here, and then just click paste. And now just to show you, this is how it looks. You should have bearer space key underscore and then your long API key over here. And then after that, we basically go ahead and we sleep for 60 seconds. This is just to go ahead and get all of that data analyzed so that the post call analysis and all of that data we can get. And then we do a nice HTTP request to Retell AI to go ahead and get the actual call. So it's first analyzed, we wait 60 seconds, and then we extract it from Retell AI. Then we basically parse that. Then we search the rows. If the total number of bundles is equals to 1, meaning that they have existed in our row before, meaning that they have booked an appointment, that means that we can go ahead and we can update their data for, you know, all of the call details and stuff like that. Now, this is only if they are in our database before. You guys can obviously update this to be just an add a row into Google Sheets, so that if any call or whatever caller comes in, you can get all of the data into Google Sheets. But for this little tutorial over here, we have just done that if they exist inside our database over here, then we go ahead and we update the row with their details. And just to explain a little bit more into the future, they are only added into the database once they book a actual meeting. So as you can see over here, we go ahead and we only add them into our client inside the book appointment scenario. So now that we've gotten these two scenarios out of the way, let's go into the actual, you know, functions, the fun part. So now if we go into our check availability function over here, this is the exact same page as VAPI, but instead of the actual, you know, just input, we have to define it into JSON ourselves. So Retell AI, if you're watching this video, update that. It makes it so much easier for users. But yeah, we basically got our good old parameters over here. You guys don't have to touch this at all. One moment while I check this. This is just to speak during execution, and you guys can change this however you want. But just know that if you want to add any more parameters into your JSON and your webhook response, just go ahead and copy this like this over here all the way till here. We're just going to copy that paste that over here, and then you can name this parameter whatever you want, like service selected over here, and you could just change this over to the user's finalized service selected, and then you would just have to go ahead and add that in right over here like this, service selected. So that's just a little update as to how this is working, but it's basically the exact same thing as Vappy. If you want to add more parameters, like more data into your webhook, then you go ahead and you just define it like that. So yeah, anyway, to explain the good old scenario over here of check availability, it runs like all our basic scenarios over here. We get the webhook response from our tool. Now, as you can see, these are our arguments or our parameters. As you can see over here, we have times and we have our check availability. Now, if I go back over to Retell AI, we go into check availability. If you guys can see, we have two parameters over here. We have our times parameter, the user's requested time, and then we've just defined the name, check availability, and then put that into required. So whatever is inside this little JSON parameters over here, this JSON schema, that is what we are gonna get inside our check availability webhook. So like always, just go ahead and input the blueprint, go ahead and create a webhook over here, and we're just gonna copy this address and go ahead and paste that in right over here, right like that, and click update and click update. Now you guys are gonna get an error invalid JSON schema. Just don't worry about that. We just have to delete this, add that back, and then you can just go ahead and click update and it will work. For some reason, they just give that message. But now to explain this scenario over here, what is happening over here is we're first going ahead and we're identifying the date and time. So meaning that if they have said something like the user would like to book tomorrow 2 p.m., if they have said that I want to book in next week 4 p.m. or something like that, we're basically going ahead and we're turning that date, or we're turning that actual user statement into an actual date and time, and we're extracting that as a full day, meaning 9 p.m. till 5 p.m. So if I say tomorrow 2 p.m., it's going to extract the day of tomorrow. So at the time of recording this, it is 2nd March. If I said tomorrow 2 p.m., it's going to get out tomorrow 3, the entire day from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. And after we get that start time, end time, we basically just put it into JSON parse to get it into variables, simple stuff. And then we have this filter over here. Now this is an optional filter. Currently today is Sunday. If I say that I want to book today, in 2 hours or something like that, that's a weekend. Now if our client does not want to book in the weekend, we have this filter to say that if the booking day is Saturday or Sunday, we go ahead and we let them know that, hey, Saturday, Sunday is busy. Can you suggest something like Monday or Friday, something like that? And of course, if the days are equal to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or whatever, then we go ahead and we move forward into our actual Google Calendar, which is where we check the actual slots inside Calendar. So to integrate this into your Google Calendar, it's very simple. Just go ahead and add like this. Obviously, it's a simple sign in with Google. And I want you guys to go over to your calendar over here, go over to the settings, go over here, and go down to the calendar that you are running with. Inside this tutorial, it's a YouTube tutorial. I want you guys to go down and go ahead and select this calendar ID right over here, and make sure that whatever your calendar time zone is it's the exact same time zone that you want to actually be doing this booking in. So if you guys see this client variable over here, we're doing this for America, New York. That's our time zone. And then you can see our UTC time zone is -0500. You guys can just Google this. You guys will find it. So this is where we're going to input our calendar ID over here. And just a little tip for you, you can find the UTC time zone as well right over here. As you can see, Eastern time -0500. It's also GMT. And then we're just going to go ahead and click save. And now if we just go back over here, as you can see, we can search our available slots from the start time and the end time using our actual calendar ID. Now, once you do this, you will get a response like this. Either it's going to come with a busy slot. So in this case, I actually booked previously. So that's the slot over here. But if you don't have a slot booked in, it will just be empty. And basically what this router step is doing, that if there has been no bookings inside that day, meaning that if I want to book in 3rd March and there's no bookings on that day, and if you can see over here, the array operators equals to 0, that means that inside this busy slot over here, right over here, this array is empty. If this array is empty, and obviously in this case it's not, we have start time and end time, then it goes down over here and it says that all slots are available between that day morning and that day night. But if we have even one booking on that day, we go up over here and we go ahead and we iterate. We go ahead and turn our values into good old JSON over here, create JSON over here with our value variable over here. Now if you guys don't have this, just run the scenario once and you will have this. You'll be able to input it right over here. And then after that, we go ahead and we convert our actual date and time. You see our weird formatted start date and end time. No one can read this, so we just go ahead and we convert that into readable date and time, March 3rd 4 p.m. till 4:30 p.m. so that we can tell the assistant that these are the busy slots. Now there's actually not much configuration that you have to do over here. All I want you guys to do is go ahead and input your actual calendar ID over here, and then I want you guys to run this once with your calendar ID. Put in any start time or end time. Just follow me over here. We're just gonna do something like that. click start, and then as you can see, we have gotten your guys' calendar over here, and as you can see, now we have 0 busy slots because it's a new calendar that we inputted. I want you guys to input that data right over here, busy over here. Make sure that it is your calendar and not mine that you guys are accidentally using. So go ahead and input busy over here, and one last place right over here like this, and now you guys are literally good, and you guys can test this out all you want. So now this is one of our most funnest scenarios over here. So we're just gonna do the exact same thing as last time. We're just gonna go ahead and create a webhook over here. We're gonna copy in this address over here, go back over to Retell AI, and we're just gonna go ahead and plug that in right over here. And again, you guys just have to remove this over here, add it back, and click update. So basically how this good old scenario is working is after we have checked the availability and we know that the slot is good, we have specific data over here to basically collect so that we can go ahead and book the appointment. So if I go back over to our prompt over here, you can see that inside confirm booking for a selected time slot, we have the following information to finalize the booking. So as you can see, we collect this information and we have labeled that inside the good old parameters over here. Service selected, we got the email, we got the full name, and we got stuff like that. So we have literally labeled it right over here along with the decided time, which is the finalized time, and then we get that right over here. So how this is working is that we basically go ahead and we first format the decided time into the start time. Instead of just getting the full day, meaning from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m., we're getting the exact start time for tomorrow 4 p.m. or next week 3 p.m. or something like that. So we're getting the exact start time. So if I show you this over here, we got our current time, we input the current time, and then we tell it that, hey, this is the time that the user would like to book, tomorrow 4 p.m. And then using our time zone hour and just our basic start time example, it gets out the exact start time that we need so that we can input that into our good old Google Calendar. And then this part over here is specifically here to basically identify the appointment ID. So if you guys can check over here inside the appointment that we booked inside the example call at the beginning, you can see that we have an appointment ID, which is a unique identifier, so that if we have like something like 20 different appointments, we can go ahead and identify the difference in them based off of this over here, their appointment ID. So that's just a little bit of information for you guys. So what actually happens over here is we extract the last row inside the Google Sheet. So obviously that was one call that we did, so we didn't have any rows inside the Google Sheets. But basically, if you see, if I run this over here, we extract the last call that we had, the last row inside our Google Sheets, so that we can go ahead and collect the appointment ID from that last row, plug it into ChatGPT and say that, look, this is our last generated appointment ID. Do not generate the exact same one. Go ahead and generate a new one. And then it keeps on stacking, going from, 45 to 46 to 47, 48, something like that. Then obviously we got to go to create an event inside Google Calendar over here. Now this is the configuration that you guys can actually touch. We got the actual event name. Then we got the good old duration. If you guys want this to be an hour, you can go ahead and set this to an hour, maybe 45 minutes. You don't really have to change anything over here if you want, but we just have specific descriptions and stuff like this. And then obviously we have our appointment reminders over here, our attendees. And then right now, currently for this over here, we have Google Meet video conferencing off. Now, obviously, if this is something like for an agency and they require Zoom calls and onboarding calls and stuff like that, you would just switch this on and it would go ahead and generate a Google Meet video conferencing link. So then after that, we just have a simple router step that basically sees that if the status is confirmed or not. And then after that, we go ahead and we format the start time into a readable data, meaning that if it's something like 2025-0504 slash blah 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 and stuff like that, we actually format it into March 3rd 4 p.m. so it's easier to read. And then obviously we add the client into the Google Sheets saying that, hey bro, you've qualified, man. Go ahead and you're added into the Google Sheet with this data over here. And obviously, again, you guys can just connect this like normal, connect your spreadsheet ID, sheet name, and then go ahead and plug in this data right over here. But it should automatically be plugged in for you. Then obviously our last step over here is just a simple go ahead and send a good old email to them saying that, hey, thank you for booking your appointment. So now we got the best and the most fun part, and the part that you all have been waiting for, the reschedule and the cancel appointment. Now this is a scenario that you will not find anywhere on YouTube. Absolutely no one has revealed this, and that's why we're revealing it today. So as you guys can see, if we just go into Retell AI, we got our good old function over here for update the booking, and we basically define inside our prompt that you have to identify if it's either reschedule or a cancel appointment, and we have to go ahead and we have to first check the availability before actually going ahead and rescheduling if it is rescheduled. So how this scenario basically works is we first obviously get the good old data over here. Now the data is defined like this. We have have the appointment decided time if it's a reschedule, and then we have the update type, which can either be rescheduled or it can either be canceled. And that is basically what this router step over here is for. So if you can see over here, we first go ahead and we identify the caller. We search their rows to see if they exist before, because obviously if they do exist, that means they've booked before. If they don't exist, then they haven't booked. So this is very essential. So after we go ahead and we search the data over here, we actually go ahead and we plug in their query over here, their appointment ID, so that we can search for specifically the appointment that they have booked from all of the appointments that we have over there. Now, obviously, if the total number of bundles equals to 0, that literally means that there's been no appointments with that actual appointment ID or with that phone number. So that means that, hey, bro, look, we have no appointment under your phone number. But if there is an appointment, if it is not equal to 0, that means that we obviously have an appointment. Then comes our good old router step, which tells that, hey, is the appointment type either cancel or is it actually rescheduled? So we're going to go into the cancel first. So the cancel step works very simply. All we have to do is go ahead and use or delete an event over here. It's very simple. All we do is plug in the event ID and the calendar ID. We get this from our good old event over here after we have searched the event. And then obviously we just go ahead and we send the email saying that, hey, your appointment has successfully been canceled. We go ahead and we delete the row inside our Google Sheet. And then we go ahead and we send a webhook response back that your appointment has successfully been canceled. And then we go into our reschedule one down over here. Now this is the actual fun part. So basically how it works is we first go ahead and we format the decided time that the user wants to reschedule to into literal start time. So we get the exact start time. So it's literally the exact same thing that we did inside the book appointment feature over here. As you can see, we just copied the exact nodes over here and we just pasted in the good old decided time from this good old webhook, as you can see right over here, and it basically gets out the actual start time right over here. And then we just go ahead, plug that good old thing into Google Calendar over here. Now it's very simple to actually reschedule an event. All we have to do is put in the calendar ID, event ID, and then put in that start date, and then we do the duration as exact same so it doesn't overbook. And obviously you guys can do any more configurations you want over here. But anyways, after that we actually have to go ahead and we have to format the start date. As you can see, this is not very readable, so we have to format this into readable text so that we can go ahead and send this over to the user inside a good old email. So as you can see, we updated to March 3rd 2 p.m, the exact same date, just in readable format. So we go ahead, so I don't know why there's a blank filter over here, but yeah, we go ahead and we send an email to the good old user saying that your appointment has successfully been updated, and we just go ahead and we tell it, and then we go ahead and we update the row in Google Sheets to basically go ahead and say that, hey bro, we have an update reschedule and here's a new time. And then obviously we send that good old webhook response back. All right, and it looks like that's all we have. All right, and it looks like that's all we have for today. We've gone through literally everything in detail. Now, here's the deal, my brothers. You all have clicked on this video for a reason. I know you all know that AI is the future and that it's going to change the world. But my question to you is, why do you wait for others to incorporate this before you? You've seen the tutorial. You've seen, all of the other businesses doing this. And you've seen competitors even looking this way. Do you not understand this? That if you incorporate this right now, you will have such a competitive edge, not just with investors or not just with customers, but also with just your own free time as to how to run your business. And obviously, if you guys don't believe me, like there's always some skeptics and stuff like that, go in the description below, click our free AI demo call, and I'm telling you, hundreds to thousands of people call that every single week, every single day, my brothers. Go ahead and call it, and you tell me yourself, is it the future? If it is, go ahead and contact us on our forum in the website. But if it's not, just don't even look our way, okay? I'm just saying, get a free demo call and you will be amazed by the future. And obviously, if you guys are looking to go ahead and develop these systems yourself, we currently hold, alhamdulillah, mashallah, the world's largest community of AI voice agencies, 1.3k members. Go ahead and check the link in the description, join that, and I am telling you, you will be truly guided, honestly, more clear than this video. Without further ado, my brothers, let's end it here. Remember, stay hard.